Good morning, good day. This is Suraj Singh, professional engineer, international professional engineer, civil engineer, chartered engineer, Bharat, India, fellow of Institute of Engineers. This is regarding Constitution of India. I talked to you regarding two, three videos last time. I couldn't find more videos, but I'm now working on another video. Constitution of India, Bharat. It's in English, and it's very important for you people. But it should be, because this is very important that we have to understand constitution of this country. Otherwise, it's a problem for every citizen of this country. We have to understand very well. So how can we understand the question? First of all, as I told you before, it's preamble that gives the structure of this constitution document, Constitution of India, which is very significant. You can say memo, you can say kind of claim, or you can say undertaking, or you can say agreement or contract among all people of this country. Permanent agreement, no duration is mentioned here. It's like that. You may consider spirit, you can say soul, you can consider direction, you can consider everything. Name is preamble, title is preamble, but it is very significant for each of us. We, people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring dignity of individual and unity and integrity of nation in our Constituent Assembly this 26th day of November 1949 do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. Once again I read just for remembering that is very important. We people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity means justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuming dignity of individuals and unity and integrity of nation. And this in our Constituent Assembly, 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Very interesting. I explained about this in last talk, last video, that what does it mean. I tried to explain at some point. I cannot say that it was explanatory or like a book constitution. No, it's not that. So some examples I give how it works. These points work in a different way. But now I'm going to just intimate, just advise, though you know it maybe many of you, what the structure of this constitution is. This structure has been divided in many parts. Contents are there. Preamble I have just told you. There's a part one, that is union and its territory. Then there's a part two, citizenship. There's a part three, fundamental rights. And then there is part 4, which is directive principles of state policy. Then there's part 4A, which is fundamental duties. Then union is part 5, union. Then there is you can say it is let me check. Yes, it is part that is yes, financial matter, and this is procedure generally. Yes, chapter 3, legislative power of chapter 4. The chapters are there, many chapters, and you can say rule of court. So the part 6 is states, part 7, part 6 states, chapter 2. Then there are many chapters in the states. So let's go to the one. Then there is so many points in this. We have to check the part A, part 7 states. In part B of first schedule, part 8 union territories, then part 9 panchayats, then part 9A municipalities, then part 10 schedules and tribal areas, then part 11, that is relations between union and states, and after this it is part 12, which is finance, property, contract and suits. Then part 12, finance, property and suits, and then we go further. It is part 13, which is trade, commerce, and intercourse within the territory of India. Then Part 14, which is services under Union and states. And then it is Part is tribunals, Part 14A, then Part 15, elections, with Part 16, special provisions relating to certain classes, then Part 17, it's official language, then Part 18, emergency provisions, Part 19, miscellaneous, Part 20, amendment of Constitution, Part 21, temporary, transitional, and special provisions, Part 22, short title, commencement, authoritative text in Hindi and repeals. Then there are schedules, first schedule, second schedule, third schedule, fourth schedule, fifth schedule, sixth schedule, seventh schedule, eighth schedule, ninth schedule, 10th schedule, 11th schedule, 12th schedule. Then appendices are there. Appendix 1, Constitution, application to Jammu and Kashmir, Order 54. Appendix 2, the statements with reference to present text of Constitution, of exceptions and modifications, etc. Then index is there. And then you can say there are amendments, more than 100 amendments there. Amendments to Constitution, one to many, maybe more than 100 are there. We are just going to apprise structure of this Constitution by within this talk. It's very significant for us to know. Just moving ahead on contents won't help until we understand what reason, what structure this is. Every point of view from our understanding, that we have to understand this in a brilliant way so that there is no confusion at all, no mix-up. Part 1 is Union and its territory. It defines articles as such. Article 1, name and territory of Union. Article 2, admission or establishment of new states. Article 2 has been repealed. Article 3, formation of new states and alteration of areas, boundaries, or names of existing states. Part 4, Article 4, laws made under Article 2 and 3 to provide for amendment of first and fourth schedule and supplemental, incidental, and consequential matters. Then Article Citizenship, Part 2. Part 2, citizenship, it says Article 5, citizenship at commencement of this Constitution. Article 6, rights of citizens of certain persons who have migrated to India from Pakistan. Article 7, rights of citizenship of certain migrants to Pakistan. And Article 8, rights of citizenship of certain persons of Indian origin residing outside India-Bharat. And Article 9, persons voluntarily acquiring citizenship of foreign state not to be citizens. And Article 10, continuance of rights of citizenship. Article 11, Parliament to regulate right of citizenship by law. Then Part 3, fundamental rights, which is very, very significant. Article 12 is definition. Article 13 is laws inconsistent with or in derogation of fundamental rights. And Article 14, equality before law. Article 14, equality before law. Article 15, prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 16, equality of opportunity in matter of public employment. Article 17, abolition of untouchability. Article 18, the abolition of titles, the right to freedom. Article 19, protection of certain rights regarding freedom of speech. Article 20, protection in respect of conviction for offenses. Article 21, protection of life and personal liberty. Article 21A, right to free education. Article 22, protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Then exploitation. Article 23, prohibition of traffic in human rights, human beings, and forced labor. Article 24, prohibition of employment of children in factories, etc. Then freedom of religion. Article 25, freedom of conscience and free profession, practice, and propagation of religion. 26, Article 26, freedom to manage religious affairs. Article 27 is freedom as to payment of taxes for promotion of any particular religion. Article 28 is freedom as to attendance of religious instructions or religious worship in certain educational institutions. Then culture and education. Article 29, protection of interests of minorities. Article 13, the right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. Article 31, repeal. Article 31 is the certain laws. Article 31 is saving of laws providing for acquisition of estates. 31B, validation of certain acts and regulations. 31C, saving of laws giving effect on certain directive principles. and 31 the repeal. Then we come to constitutional remedies. Article 32 remedies for enforcement of right conferred by this part. 32 is repealed. Article 33 power of Parliament to modify rights conferred by this part in their application to forces. Article 34 restriction on rights conferred by this part while martial law is in force in any area. Article 35 legislation to give effect to provisions of this part. Then part 4 directive principles. 36 is definition, Article 36 definition, Article 37 application of principal content in this part, Article 38 states to secure a social order for promotion of welfare of people, Article 39 certain principles of policies followed by state, Article 39 equal justice and free legal aid, Article 40 is organization of village panchayats, Article 41 is right to work, to education and public assistance in certain cases, Article 42 provisions for just and human condition of work and maturity relief. Article 43 is living wages, etc. for workers. Article 43A participation of workers in management of industries. Article 44 is uniform civil code for citizens. Article 45 provisions for free and compulsory education for children. Article 46 is promotion of educational economic interests of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and other weaker sections. Article 47, duty of state to raise level of nutrition and standards of living and to improve public health. Article 48, organization of agriculture and animal husbandry. Article 48, protection and improvement of environment and safeguarding of forests and wildlife. Article 49 is protection of monuments and places and objects of national importance. Article 50, separation of judiciary from executive. Article 51, promotion of international peace and security. Then Part 4A, fundamental duties. Article 51A, fundamental duties. Part 5, Union chapter. This is our executive, president, vice president. Article 52 is president of India. Article 53, executive power of union. Article 54, election of president. Article 55, manner of election of president. Article 56, terms of office of president. Article 57, eligibility for re-election. Article 58, qualifications of elections as president. Article 59, conditions of president's office. Article 60, oath and affirmation by the president. Article 61, procedure for impeachment of president. Article 62, time of holding elections to fill vacancies in office of president and terms of office of president, person selected to fill casual vacancy. Article 63, Vice President of India. Article 64, Vice President to be ex officio Chairman of Council of States. Article 65, Vice President to act as President or to discharge functions during casual vacancies in office or during absence of presidents. Article 66, election of Vice President. Article 67, terms of office of Vice President. Article 68, time of holding offices to fill vacancy in the office of Vice President and terms of office of person selected to fill casual vacancy. Article 69, oath or affirmation by Vice President. Article 70, discharge of President functions in other contingencies. Article 71, matters related to and connected with election of President or Vice President. Article 72, powers of President to grant pardons, etc. and to suspend, remit or commute sentences in certain cases. Article 73, extend to executive powers of the Union. And then Council of Ministers. Article 74, Council of Ministers to aid and advise President. Article 75, other provisions as to ministers. Attorney General of India. 76, Article 70, Attorney General of India. Then conduct of government business. Article 77, conduct of business of Government of India. Article 78, duties of Prime Minister as respects furnishing of information to President, etc. In Chapter 2, the Parliament. 79 is the Constitution of Parliament. Article 80, composition of Council of States. Article 81, composition of a House of People. Article 82, readjustment after each census. Article 83, duration of House of Parliament. Article 84, qualification for membership of Parliament. Article 85, sessions of Parliament for prorogation and dissolution. Article 86, right of President to address and send messages to houses. Article 87, special address by President. Article 88, rights of ministers and Attorney General as respects houses. Then Article 89, Chairman and Deputy Chairman of Council of States. Article 90, vacation and resignations of and removal from office of Deputy Chairman. Article 91, powers of Deputy Chairman or persons to perform duties of office or to act as Chairman. 92, Chairman of the or Deputy Chairman not to preside violate resolution for his removal from office is under consideration. Article 93, Speaker and Deputy Speaker of House of People. Article 94, vacation and resignations of and removal from offices of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Article 95, power of Deputy Speaker or other persons to perform duties of offices of or to act as speaker. Article 96, Speaker or Deputy Speaker not to preside while a resolution for his removal from office is under consideration. Article 97, salaries and allowances of Chairman, Deputy Chairman, and Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Article 19, Secretariat of Parliament and Conduct of Business. 99, Article 99, Oath or permission of members by members. Article 100, Voting in Houses, power of Houses to act notwithstanding vacancies and quorum. Disqualification of members. Article 101, vacation of seats. 102, disqualifications for membership. 103, decision on questions as to disqualification of members. Article 104, penalty for sitting and voting before making oath or affirmation under Article 99 or when not qualified or when disqualified. Then Article 105, power, privileges, etc. of houses of parliament and of members and committees thereof. Article 106, salaries and allowances of members. Article 107, provision as to introduction and passing of bills. Article 108, joint sitting of both houses in certain cases. Article 109, special procedures in respect of money bill. Article 110, definition of money bill. Article 111, assent to bills. Article 112, annual financial statement. Article 113, procedure in Parliament with respect to estimates. Article 114, appropriation of bills. Article 115, supplementary, additional or excess grants. Article 116, votes on account, votes of credit and exceptional grants. Article 117, special provisions as to financial bills. Article 118, rule of procedure. 119, regulation by law of procedure in Parliament in relation to financial business. Article 120, language to be used in Parliament. Article 121, restriction on discussion of Parliament. Article 120, the courts not to inquire into proceedings of Parliament. Article 123, powers of President to promulgate ordinance during recess of Parliament. Then Union Judiciary. Article 124, establishment and constitution of Supreme Court. Article 125, salaries etc. of judges. Article 126, appointment of acting Chief Justice. Article 127, appointment of ad hoc judges. Article 128, attendance of retired judges at sittings of Supreme Court. Article 129, Supreme Court to be court of record. Article 130, seat of Supreme Court. Article 131, original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Article 131A repealed. Article 133, appellate jurisdiction of Supreme Court and appeals from High Court in certain cases. Article 133, appellate jurisdiction of Supreme Court and appeals from High Courts in regard to civil matters. Article 134, appellate jurisdiction of Supreme Court in regard to criminal matters. Article 134, a certificate for approval on or to Supreme Court. Article 135, jurisdiction and powers of federal court under jurisdiction law to be exercised by Supreme Court. Article 136, special leave to appeal by Supreme Court. Article 137, review of judgments or orders by Supreme Court. Article 138, enlargement of jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Article 139, conferment on Supreme Court of power or to issue certain writs. Article 139, a transfer of certain cases. Article 140, ancillary powers of Supreme Court. Article 141, laws declared by Supreme Court to be binding on all courts. Article 142, enforcement of decrees and orders of Supreme Court and orders as to discovery, etc. Article 143, power of President to consult Supreme Court. Article 144, civil jurisdiction, civil and judicial authorities to act in aid of Supreme Court. Article 144, repealed. Article 145, rules of court. Article 146, officers and servants and expenses of Supreme Court. Article 147, interpretation. Then Comptroller of the General of India. Article 140, Comptroller of the General of India. Article 149, duties and powers of Comptroller of the General. Article 150, form of accounts of Union and of states. Article 151, audit reports. Then states, part 6. Article 152, definitions. Then executive. Article 153, governance of states. Article 154, executive power of the state. Article 155, appointment of governor. Article 156, term of office of governor. Article 156, qualifications for appointment of governor as governors. Article 158, conditions of governor's office. Article 158, conditions of governor's office. Article 159, conditions of governor's office. Article 159, oath or affirmation by governor. Article 160, discharge of functions of governor in certain contingencies. Article 116, power of governor to grant pardons, etc., and to suspend, remit, or commute sentences in certain cases. Article 162, extent of executive power of state and council of ministers. Article 163, council of ministers to aid and advise governor. Article 164, other provisions as to ministers. Article 165, Advocate General for the state. Article 166, conduct of business of government of the state. Article 177, duties of chief minister as respects furnishing of information to governor, etc. Then state legislature. 168, Article 1, Constitution of Legislature in States. Article 169, abolition or creation of legislative council in states. Article 170, composition of legislative assembly. Article 171, composition of legislative council. Article 172, duration of state legislatures. Article 173, qualifications for membership of state legislature. Article 174, sections of state legislature, prorogation and dissolution. Article 175, right of governor to address and send messages to house or houses. Right. Article 176, special address by governor. Article 177, rights of ministers and advocates general as respects house of state. Article 117, Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Legislative Assembly. Article 179, vacation, resignation of and removal from office of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Article 180, power of Deputy Speaker or other person to perform duties of officer of or act as Speaker. Article 181, Speaker or Deputy Speaker not to preside while a resolution for his removal from office is under consideration. Article 182, Chairman and Deputy Chairman of Legislative Council. Article 183, occasional resignation and removal from offices of Chairman and Deputy Chairman. Article 184, power of Deputy Chairman or other person to perform duties of offices of or to act as Chairman. 185, Chairman or Deputy Chairman not to preside while resolution for his removal from office is under consideration. Article 186, salaries and allowances of Speaker and Deputy Speaker and Chairman and Deputy Chairman. Article 187, Secretariat of State Legislature. Article 180, oath or affirmation by members. Article 189, voting in houses, power of houses or to act notwithstanding vacancies and quorum. Article 190, vacation of seats. Article 191, disqualification for membership. Article 192, decision on question as to the disqualification of members. Article 193, penalty for sitting and voting before making oath or affirmation under Article 188 or when not qualified or when disqualified. Article 194, powers, privileges, etc. of houses of legislatures and of members and committees thereof. Article 195, salaries and allowances of members. Article 196, provisions as to introduction and passage of bills. Passing of bills. Article 197, restrictions of power of legislative council as to bills other than money bills. Article 198, special procedure in respect of money bills. Article 199, definition of money bills. Article 200, assent to bills. Article 201, bills reserved for consideration. Financial matters. Article 202, annual financial statement. Article 203, procedure in legislature with respect to estimates. Article 204, appropriation bills. Article 205, supplementary, additional or excess grants. Article 206, votes on account, votes of credit and exceptional grants. Article 207, okay. Article 208, rules of procedure. Article 209, wait a minute, yes. 207, special provisions as to financial bills. Article 208, rules of procedure. Article 209, regulation by law procedure in the legislature of a state in relation to financial business. Article 210, language to be used in the legislature. Article 211, restriction on discussion in the legislature. Article 212, courts not to inquire into proceedings of legislature. Legislative power of governor. Article 213, power of governor to promulgate ordinances during process of legislature. Then high courts in states. Article 214, high court for states. Article 215, high courts to be courts of record. 216, constitution of high court. 217, appointments and conditions of office of a judge or high court. Article 218, application of certain provisions including relating to Supreme Court to high court. Article 219, oath or affirmation by judges of high court. Article 220, restriction on practice after being a permanent judge. Article 221, salaries etc. of judges. Article 2, transfer of a judge from one high court to another. Article 233, appointment of acting Chief Justice. Article 224, appointment of additional and acting judges. Article 224A, appointment of retired judges as sitting at High Court. Article 225, jurisdiction of existing high courts. 226, power of high courts to issue certain writs. 226A, repeal. 227, power of superintendence over all courts by High Court. Article 228, transfer of certain cases to high courts. Article 228, repeal. Article 229, offices and servants and expenses of high courts. Article 230, extension of jurisdiction of high court to union territories. Article 231, establishment of a common high court for 2 or more states. 233, Article 233, subordinate clauses, appointment of district judges. Article 233, validation of amendments of and judgments, etc., delivered by certain district judges. Article 234, recruitment of persons other than district judges to judicial service. Article 235, control over subordinate courts. Article 236, interpretation. Article 237, application of provisions of this chapter to certain classes of magistrates. Article 12, part 12, 7, the states of parts B of first schedule. Article 238, repeal for the union territories. Article 239, administration of union territories. 239A, creation of local legislatures or council of ministers or both for certain union territories. Article 239A, special provisions with respect to Delhi. Article 239A, provisions in case of failure of constitutional machinery. 239B, power of administration to promote the ordinances during recess of legislature. Article 240, power of the president to make regulation for certain union territories. Article 241, higher courts for union territories. Article 242, repeal. Panchayats, part 9. Article 243, definitions. Article 243A, Gram Sabha. Article 243B, constitution of panchayat. Article 243C, composition of panchayats. Article 243, reservation of seats. Article 243E, duration of panchayats, etc. Article 243F, disqualifications of membership. Article 243G, power, authority and responsibilities of panchayat. Article 243H, power to impose taxes by and funds of panchayats. Article 243I, Constitution of Finance Commission to review financial position. Article 243J, audit of accounts of panchayats. Article 243K, elections to panchayats. Article 240L, ample application to union territories. Article 243M, power not to apply to certain areas. Article 243N, continuance of existing laws and panchayats. Article 243O, power to interference by court in electoral matters. Okay. Then 242 bar. Okay. Now go to municipalities. 243P, definitions. 243Q, constitution of municipalities. 243R, composition of municipalities. 243S, constitution and composition of wards committees. 243D, reservation of seats. 243U, duration of municipalities. 243.5, disqualifications for membership. 243W, powers, authority and responsibilities of municipalities. Article 243X, power to impose taxes by and funds of municipalities. Article 243Y, finance commission. Article 243Z, audit of accounts of municipalities. Article 243Z, the elections to municipalities. Article 243ZB, application to union territories. Article 243ZC, part not to apply to certain areas. Part 243ZD, Committee for Metropolitan Planning. 243ZF, Committee, continuance of existing. 243 ZF, continuation of existing laws and municipalities. 243 ZG, power to influence by court in electoral matters. Then part 10, scheduled classes, tribal areas. Part 240, Article 244, administration of scheduled areas and tribal areas. Article 244A, formation of an autonomous state comprising certain tribal areas in Assam, implementation of local legislature or council of minister or both thereof. Therefore, relations with states and unions. This is legislative relations, chapter I, 245, Article 245, extent of laws made by Parliament and by legislature of states. 246, subject matter of laws made by Parliament and by legislature of states. Article 247, power of Parliament to provide for establishment of certain additional courts. Article 248, residuary power of legislation. Article 249, power of Parliament to legislate with respect to a matter in state list in national interest. Article 250, power of Parliament to legislate with respect to any matter in state list if proclamation of emergency is in power and operation. Article 251, inconsistency between laws made by Parliament under Article 249 and 250 and laws made by legislature of states. Article 252, power of Parliament to legislate for two or more states by consent and adoption of such legislation by any other state. Article 253, legislation for giving effect to international agreements. Article 254, inconsistency between laws made by Parliament and laws made by legislature of states. Article 255, requirements as to recommendation and previous sanctions to be regarded as matter of procedure only, administrative relations. Article 256, obligation of states and union. Article 257, control of union over states in certain cases. Article 257, a repeal. Article 258, power of union to confer powers, etc. on states in certain cases. Article 258A, power of states to ensure functions to union. Article 59, repeal. Article 260, jurisdiction of union in relation to territories outside India. Article 61, public acts, records and judicial proceedings. Dispute related to waters. Article 262, adjudication of disputes relating to waters of inter-state rivers of river delta. States coordination. Article 263, provisions with respect to an inter-state council. Article 264, interpretation found this is part 12, finance, property, conference and issues. So it's 264, interpretation. Article 265, taxes not to be imposed save by authority of law. Article 266, consolidate the fund and public accounts of India and of such states. Contingency fund, distribution of revenues between union and states. Okay, contingency fund. Then Article 268, duties levied by union but collected and appropriated by states. Article 268A, service tax levied by union and collected and approved by union is now GST. So 269, taxes levied and collected by union but assigned to states. Article 270, taxes levied and distributed within union and states. Article 271, surcharge on certain duties and taxes for purpose of union. Article 272, repeal. Article 273, grants in lieu of export duty on jute and jute products. Article 274, prior submission. Anyway, Article 273, grant in lieu of Article 273, repeal. Article 273, grants in lieu of export duty on jute and jute products. Article 273, prior recommendation of president required to bills affecting taxation in which states are interested. Article 275, grants from union to certain states. Article 276, taxes on professions, trades, calling and employment. Article 77, savings. Article repeal. 78, 79, Article 279, calculation of net proceeds, etc. Article 280, Financial Commission. Article 281, recommendation of Finance Commission. Miscellaneous financial provisions. Article 282, expenditure deferable by union or state out of its revenues, custody, etc. of consolidated funds, contingency funds, and monies credited to public accounts. Article 284, custody of suitors, deposits, and other monies received by servants and courts. Article 285, exemption of property of union from state education. Okay, sorry. Sorry, झटका आ गया. Again, 282 expenditure is declared by union. It's the miscellaneous, all right? Okay. Expenditure declared by union or state out of revenues. Article 283 custody, etc. of custodial funds, contingency funds, and money is credited to public accounts. Article 284 custody of suitors, deposits, and other money is received by public servants in courts. Article 285 exemption of property of union from state taxation. Article 286 restrictions as to imposition of tax on sale or purchase of goods. Article 287 exemption from taxes on electricity. Article 288 exemption from taxation by states in respect of water or electricity and certain cases. Article 289 exemption of property and income of a state from union taxation. Article 290 adjustment in respect of certain expenses and pensions. Article 298 annual payment to certain Devas Home Fund. Devas Home Fund. Article 299 is revealed. It says Chapter 2 borrowings, Article 292 borrowing by Government of India, Article 293 borrowing by states, Article Chapter 3 property controls rights represent 294 successor to property, assets, rights, liabilities and obligations in certain cases. Article 295 succession to property, assets, rights, liabilities and obligations in certain cases. Article 296 property accruing by escheat or lapse or as bona vacantia. Article 297 things of value within territorial waters of continental shelf and resources of exclusive economic zone to west of Union. Article 298 power to carry on trade. Article 299 contracts. Article 300 suits and proceedings. Then property, right to property. Article 300 persons not to be deprived of property save by the authority of law. Part 13 trade, commerce and intercourse within territory of India. Article 302 freedom of trade, commercial and intercourse. Article 302 power of Parliament to impose restrictions on trade, commerce and intercourse. Article 303 restrictions on legislative power of Union and of states with regard to trade and commerce. Article 204 restrictions on trade, economy, trade, commerce and intercourse among states. Article 305 service of existing laws and laws providing them laws savings of existing laws and laws providing for states monopolies. Article 306 repealed. Article 307 appointment of authorities for carrying out purposes of Articles 301 parts 14 services under Union and states. Article 308 interpretation of 309 recruitment conditions of service of persons serving as a union or a state. Article 310 tenure of office of persons serving as union or state. Article 311 dismissal, removal or reduction in rank of persons employed in civil capacities under union or state. Article 313 all in the services. Article 312A power of Parliament to vary or revoke, demolition or power of Parliament to vary or revoke conditions of services of office of certain services. And 312 was all in the services. 312 is this one. Article 313 transitional powers. 314 repeal chapter 2 Public Service Commission. Article 315 Public Service Commission for Union and for States. Article 316 appointment and term of office of members. Article 317 removal and suspension of member of Public Service Commission. Article 318 power to make regulations as to condition of service of members and staff of the commission. Article 319 prohibition as to holding office by members of commission and ceasing to be such members. Article 320 functions of Public Service Commission. 321 power to extend functions of Public Service Commission. 322 expenses of Public Service Commission. Article 322 report of Public Services Commission. Article 323A administrative tribunals. Article 322B tribunals for other matters. Article 15 part 15 elections. Article 324 superintendence, direction and control of elections to be vested in election commission. Article 325 no person to be eligible for any inclusion in or claim to be included in a special election roll on grounds of religion, race, caste or sex. Article 326 elections to be to House of People and to Legislature Assembly of States to be on basis of adult suffrage. Article 327 power of Parliament to make provision with respect to elections to legislature. Article 328 power of legislature of a state to make provisions with respect to electoral elections. No such legislature. Article 329 bar to interference by courts in electoral election matters. Article 329 repeal Part 15-16 special provisions within certain classes. Article 330 reservation of seats for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and the House of People. Article 331 representation of Anglo-Indian community in House of People. 322 reservation of seats for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in Legislative Assembly of States. Article 333 representation of Anglo-Indian community in Legislative Assembly of States. Article 335 Article 334 reservation of seats and special representation to seats after 6 years. 15. Article 335 claims of scheduled castes to right to service and posts. Article 336 is special provisions for Anglo-Indian community in certain areas, certain services. Article 338 is special provisions with respect to educational or educational grant. Well, 337 special provisions with respect to educational grant for benefit of Anglo-Indian community. 338 National Commission for Scheduled Castes. 338 the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes. 339 control of union over administration of scheduled areas and welfare of scheduled tribes. Article 340 appointment of commission to investigate conditions of backward classes. Article 341 scheduled castes. Article 342 scheduled tribes of official language. Article 343 official language of union. Article 344 commission and committee of parliament and or official legislation. Article 345 official language or language of a state. 340 the official language for communication between one state and another state or between state and union. Article 347 special provisions relating to language spoken by a section of population of the state. Chapter 3 language of Supreme Court, High Court. 340 language to be used in Supreme Court and in High Court and for X bills as a special procedure. 340 special procedure for enactment of certain laws relating to language. Also 340 language to be used in the Supreme Court and High Court and for Act bills. 349 special procedures for enactment of certain laws relating to language when decision adopted. Article 350 language to be used in the presentations for results of grievances. Article 358 facilities for instructions in mother tongue at primary schools. Primary stage. Article 350 special officers for linguistic minorities. Article 351 directive for development of Hindi language. Then 18 article part 18 emergency provisions. Article 352 proclamation of emergency. Article 353 effect of proclamation of emergency. Article 354 application of provisions relating to distribution of revenues while a proclamation of emergency is in operation. 355 duty of union to protect the state against the external aggressive. Okay. Article 53 effect of proclamation of emergency. Article 354 application of provisions relating to the distribution of revenues while a proclamation of emergency is in operation. Article 355 duty of union to protect states against external aggression and internal influences. Article 356 provisions in case of failure of constitutional machinery in the states. Article 357 exercise of legislative powers under proclamation issued under Article 356. Article 358 suspension of provisions of Article 19 during emergency. Article 359 suspension of enforcement of right conferred by Part 3 during emergencies. Article 359 repeal Article 360 provisions as to financial emergencies. Article miscellaneous, this is Part 19. 361 Article 3 protection of president, governors and Raj Pramukhs. Article 361A protection of publication of proceedings of Parliament and state legislature. Article 361B disqualification for appointment of remunerative political posts. Article 360 repeal. Article 363 bar to interference by courts and dispute arising out of certain treaties, agreements, etc. Article 363A recognition granted to rulers of Indian states to seize and privy purse to be abolished. Article 364 special provisions as to major ports and major ports and agronomies. Special provisions as to major ports and aerodromes. Article 365 effect of failure to comply with or to give effect to directions given by Union. 366 definition. Article 367 interpretations. Then Part 20 amendment to Constitution. Article 368, power of Parliament is to amend the Constitution and protect. Therefore, Part 21, temporary and transitional and special provisions. Prefixes. Temporary and transitional and specific provisions. Article 369, temporary power to Parliament to make laws with respect to certain matters in the state list as it differ matters in concurrent list. Article 370, temporary provisions with respect to state of Jammu and Kashmir. Article 371, special powers with respect to state of Maharashtra and Gujarat. Article 371A, special provisions with respect to state of Nagaland. Article 371, special provisions with respect to state of Assam. Article 371C, special provisions with respect to state of Manipur. Article 371D, special provisions with respect to state of Manipur. Article 371C, Article 371D, special provisions with respect to state of Andhra Pradesh. Article 371E, establishment of Central University in Andhra Pradesh. Article 371F, special provisions with respect to state of Sikkim. Article 371G, special provisions with respect to state of Mizoram. Article 371H, special provisions with respect to state of Arunachal Pradesh. Then Article 371 1 I, special provisions with respect to state of Goa. Article 372, continuance in force of existing laws and their adaptation. Article 372, power of President to adopt laws. Article 372, Article 373, power of President to make order in respect of persons under preventive detention in certain cases. Article 374, provisions as to judges of federal court and proceedings pending in federal court or before his majesty in council. Article 375, courts, authorities and official officers to continue to function subject to the Article 376, provisions as judges of High Court. Article 377, provisions as judges of Article 70, provisions of Public Service Commission. Article 77, provisions of Comptroller General of India. Article 37, provisions of judges of High Court. Article 374, provisions of judges of Federal Court and proceedings pending in Federal Court to before Justice, Your Majesty in Council, consider our courts, authorities, and officers to continue functions subject to provisions of Constitution. Article 376, provisions as judges of High Court. 377, provisions as Comptroller General of India. Article 378, provisions as to Public Service Commission. Article 378, special provisions as to relation of Andhra Pradesh. Yes. Article 378A. Sorry. Andhra Pradesh. Yes, 378 special provisions as to duration of Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly. 379 to 390 on repeal. 390 the power of President to remove difficulties. Part 22 short title commencement authorities text in Hindi and the appeals. Article 393 short title. Article 394 commencement. Article 394A authority to text in Hindi language, and 395 repeals. Then schedules. First schedule states, union and territories. Second schedule, I'll take this schedule later on. Schedule with their amendments to constitutions that will take later on. Now this is only list for contents, and this will take later on just for information purpose. I'm just giving it. So this is what I explained to you about constitution of this country, contents of this country, which are very important to be known, and there are some more contents for schedules and for appendices and for amendments, which I'll give in another video, because this video is already 48 minutes, and it's important that I was speaking very fast. Maybe I stepped somewhere. I corrected that one. If there is no, well, it's just information purpose that there's a constitution, there's content for you to know. If you want to read them, you can read them. You find no problem at all for that. But it's my duty to just to tell before starting contents, and I'll speak only in English for as far as YouTube videos series is concerned. Another series on Facebook, I am speaking in English as well as Hindi. Here, this is all the rule. So with this, I say we have to understand Constitution very well. Preamble says so many things. I have discussed with that in this Constitution. There's so many things, and there's hundreds of provisions in this Constitution. There's 395 articles, and with that there are so many sub articles and articles. So you can say it goes on how many hundreds more. Constitution of India applies to each and every citizen of India, and we are abide by this. We are forced to abide by this. We cannot condemn. So we condemn. Means we cheat ourselves. We cheat ourselves that we don't. We have this document. This document on top of the document. This country. But this tells how this country is moving, how it's being ruled, who is ruling, how it's ruling. This is very important to understand. If you understand this, a fine for each and every citizen of this country. Educated persons are more responsible for this country. Because someone you have to tell, you have to, I don't leave it to advocates and don't leave it to judges. You have to understand this like you understand the subjects. You did all subjects, you did all your professional subjects, non-professional subjects, art, science, physics, chemistry, which are all that you understand. And why there's a problem, you cannot understand this. Why only lawyers can understand, why only courts can understand, why not you can understand, I can understand. We have to learn this document so that we can understand what political system is, what social system is, whatever this legislature is doing, whatever this you can say courts are doing, and whatever institutes are doing, and what government servants are doing, and what local bodies are doing, or the authorities are doing, municipalities are doing, panchayats are doing, all that we have municipalities are doing, and there's so many wise other systems which we have to understand. Until we understand, we don't know legal effect of it, and we have to understand very well, and that's all we have to say, that we have to understand very well. Once again, I'm saying it is your job, this is your duty, this is your country, your constitution, your law, your power, everything. Preambles for you, for me, and for you to this country, all particular people of this country are covered in this constitution. This constitution protects you. It's duty of president to protect you. It's duty of Supreme Court to protect you. It's duty of law to protect you. It's duty of legislature to protect you. It's duty of government to protect you. Everybody is there appointed by you. You are paying to each and every institution. You are paying for legislature. You are paying for government. You are paying for judiciary. You are paying for executive. You are paying for all departments. You are paying for municipalities. You are paying for all, everything. You are paying them, and they have to work for us. But that has not been happening, and that is the question here. Why we have to take work from them? When we are paying them, we cannot leave them free. In addition of salaries, allowances, whatever benefits, nominations are there, they are charging bribes, they are charging commissions, they are charging so many illegal gratifications, which we have to stop that, and we can stop that only when you understand where we are and what we stand, and what is our country, what is Bharat, what is India, what is constitution, what is Preamble, what is we are, what is meaning of vote, what is meaning of thing. That thing we have to understand. What is MP, what is MLA, what is this one constable, what is panchayat member, what is government research officer, what is president, what is prime minister. These all we have to understand. But we don't understand, that's the problem. Only then we can understand what I am, what is my vote, what is my power, what can I do, that I have to understand first. If I can understand first, I can teach this bloody hall, this scoundrel problems, each and every lesson. Whoever we were prime minister, or maybe minister, or maybe government, who are the all groups, we have to teach them, we have to set them right, or let them go to hell, and we sit ourselves, we go to election and get elected. Let us understand that very well. Professionals, engineers, doctors, professors, lawyers, everybody has a duty to understand this, or else they will befool us forever. They will cheat us forever. He says one thing and does nothing, as our prime minister saying, I'll give 15 less, I'll give this, I'll give that. He did nothing. Why should we trust such rascals? That is my question. That is why I'm talking to you about this. That's very important. We have to understand ourselves first. If we don't understand ourselves, we cannot do anything ourselves. Well, with this, I'm closing this, and I think next time when I do something, I'll say about this, and that's all. What I'm saying, writing on this, the Constitution of India is a very significant document for each of us. Document for each of us to understand our Bharat. That is very important. If you understand this, you understand everything. So I close it. I should like share in some other one, but I forgot to link it to other streams. So I'm just closing it. And the next one I will stream and link to this one. For timing, I'm closing this one.